Some people ask, why do you want to run? One major reason that I want to run, when my daughter graduates from college, I want her to have a good job and stay in Rhode Island. Margaret Thatcher once said, the problem with socialism is you eventually run out of other people's money. Rhode Island taxpayers have no more money. So, things this Democratic General Assembly should really be proud of. You know, the Democrats in General Assembly, 70 plus years, we're #1, Rhode Island is, and lost manufacturing jobs over the decade. That's not something to be proud of. And now also, we're #2 for unemployment rate at 11.1. That's something they should really be working on, but they're more worried about passing small menial things and taking money out of taxpayer of Rhode Island's pockets. If you think about it, it's all about the economy. Once you fix the economy, everything else falls into place. And that's where we're going to go with this. I have a manufacturing jobs plan, which will be posted on my website, www.freddiel.com. That's Fred, D-I-E-L, or as John DePietro called me today, the real deal. So, we want to have more manufacturers, like you just seen an article on, I believe it was Tuesday or Wednesday, about Daniel Inc. in Burville. They're a sausage manufacturer. They're expanding. All right, $50 million they're putting into their expansion. That's what we want. We want to have more companies come here. So my plan is going to include tax breaks for companies that hire new full-time employees. When you do that, you're going to increase revenue, payroll taxes. All right, and also the unemployment rate goes down. I don't want to be #2 in the country for unemployment. I want to be down like number 50. You know, we are Rhode Island. We were part of the Industrial Revolution. We were a leader. We're not a leader anymore. But it first starts by making Rhode Island a place where manufacturing wants to do business. Now, I got some stats. John Robitaille brought it up. Taxes in Rhode Island. And this is to say, do we compete? Meal tax, 8%. Our state income tax, 7%. Well, let's talk about Massachusetts and Connecticut, our neighbors. Massachusetts, 6.25%. Connecticut, 6.35%. How do we compete? We can't. Gas taxes in Rhode Island, 33 cents out of every dollar, it's per gallon, 33 cents per gallon. Massachusetts, 21 cents. You see it when you go to Seekonk or Rehoboth, gas is much cheaper. Connecticut, 25 cents. Now, if you're putting this stuff on diesel, which manufacturers need to haul their goods, that makes us uncompetitive. So we can't even have people come here. So other things we're going to look at, how do we compete? Remember one thing, when was Massachusetts called Taxachusetts? Not anymore. All right, that's one thing that you cannot call them. It's one of the better places for lower taxes is Massachusetts. Another problem, over 500 plus unfunded mandates. They've been choking local governments. I believe that in state rights, I believe in local government rights. I will work with the legislators to give local governments their things that are right for them. We need to make sure that we don't, as legislators up on Smith Hill, put in unfunded mandates which cannot be supported by local governments. I'm a constitutionalist. Thank you, Bill, because I know you've been working on it hard.
Absolutely.
I'm a constitutionalist. I am a Ronald Reagan Republican. Well, it's also time for sunset clauses. Well, a lot of us know what sunset clauses are, and my belief on this is that laws that require mandates on local governments need to have sunset clauses. And I will work with my fellow elected officials to make sure this happens. I'm going to ask you one thing. Are you better off now, or are you better off 4 years ago when our current rep took office? It's time for a new leader to represent District 66. I was asked the other day to label myself. And with a bewildered look, I said, you know what? This person's going for red meat. And you know what? I don't steer away from controversy, as many of you know, and I don't back down from much. And I'm a strong-willed, opinionated family man and a stand-up guy, so what you see is what you get. So of course, he knew he was getting an answer. So I'm a fiscal conservative. I believe in cutting spending, stopping legislative grants, lowering corporate taxes, lowering state income tax, lowering the state sales tax to make us more competitive in New England. Also, creating a business-friendly environment. If we don't have a business-friendly environment, no manufacturing jobs are going to come here. Unemployment's still going to be high. Now, the red meat they were looking for. Said I was a fiscal conservative. I am a social conservative. But, social conservative, I support helping the needy. I oppose funding the lazy. And I'll explain what social conservatism is. Social conservatism. Give people the means to better themselves. I believe if you give a person a fish, you feed them for a day. You've all heard it. You teach them how to fish, you feed them for a lifetime. That's an important thing to me. Most Americans do not want a handout. Most Rhode Islanders don't want a handout. They want to be producers in society. So we got to actually be there to help them be producers in society. I believe children are the most important thing in this country. Since they are innocent, we need to protect them. As Americans, it's our responsibility to take care of our children and to give them the opportunity to be successful on their own, not from the government. We want our children to be successful on their own. Things to remember. Ronald Reagan helped take down the Soviet Union. Abraham Lincoln freed the slaves. Republicans led House of Representatives on May 21st, 1919, passed the 19th Amendment, granting women the right to vote. Civil Rights Act of 1964, when it was passed, the Senate, 82% of the Republicans voted for it, 69% of the Democrats voted for it. In the House of Representatives, 80% of the Republicans voted for it, 63% of the Democrats only voted for it. As you can see, in these few examples I've given, Republicans are the party of freedom and equality. It's time for a new beginning. It's time for the real deal. So I want you to go to my website, www.freddiel.com, and it's diel.com. You'll see a lot more of my opinions on issues, and it all can be read there. I'm actually going to be able to, you can post. It is a very large website. We have Fox News, we got WPRO, there's a lot of different links. So we're making this for the people, and candidates are running. We're going to have links for them to go on there. So I want you to keep it as your home page, because you know, the more times you hit it, the higher on Google I get. That's it. Thank you very much for coming, and thank you, Ray.
Real quick at this moment, I'd like to open it up to any questions for the candidate, from the media or anybody else at the moment. In front of God and country. Yes, sir.
Fred, why didn't you do this 10 years ago, buddy? You would have saved us a lot of
I
help.
was still in the service. All right, so I retired in 2007. You know, there is some, as you notice, my campaign website's going to have my picture of me in my chief's uniform. I was asked, you know, do you see this as a problem? To me, no. I live those ideals of honor, courage, and commitment. And that's why when I go to the State House, people are going to say, that's the kind of representative I want up there. Somebody that's not going to move from his values that he said he was going to run on. Not just go whatever way, stick my finger in the air, how's the wind blowing today? Am I going to get that lobbyist to donate? I don't need lobbyists to donate to me. I don't need anybody that's up at the State House to say, well, I'm not really happy with you because I'm worried about District 66 and Rhode Islanders in general. So I'm running now just for you, John.
All right.
Anything? Yeah. Oh.
How do you differ from your opponent?
Why? I got to be home by midnight.
I'm going to run a positive campaign. I am running against the General Assembly. 70 years of Democrat rule. It's just not about one rep. It's about the whole entire, encompassing all of the people. When John Robitaille ran, he ran against that whole entire power. All right? We need to take back the whole state. And a lot of people have heard it, you know, join Fred's Freedom Fighters, taking back Rhode Island one seat at a time. We're going to go forward. And once I make it in there, you're going to see a lot of following people say, it can be done by the little guy. You know, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure out what's wrong with this economy. But now we have to do something about that. And that's where we've been lacking. Thank you very much for that question.